Hello, my friends. Welcome back to 3DS Cast. Last time I called it 3D Cast. I'm sorry about that. I'm still new to this. Welcome to 3DS Cast. I'm your host, Brian, and we have a guest today. Oh my God, we're doing guests now, y'all. I'm so excited that we have guests. Joining us from Berlin is Soru. Now, wait, I didn't ask this before we started. What is your role regarding Netpass? Creator, main?
Creator, main developer.
Okay. So you're the brains behind it, basically.
Yeah.
Okay, that's great. So folks, if you're not aware, I'll just give a quick rundown. The 3DS has a feature called Street Pass, which we're going to dive into more detail in a bit. But if you're walking around with a 3DS that's asleep and you walk near someone else with a 3DS that's asleep, it'll exchange information, whether it's for specific games or your Mii's or like that. It's really neat. I don't think there's another. I mean, the DS had a thing like that. I learned, but you had to have the game on, that Tag Pass. You had to have the game on to do it. This is a purely passive thing, and it's really nifty because then you open your bag, it's like, oh, there's a green light. But now with fewer and fewer people walking around with 3DSs, there's really less chance that if you're walking around with one, you'll get a Street Pass. So there's a web-based thing called Netpass, which we're going to talk about today, and we have the main creator and developer Soru, which I'm very excited about because I love Netpass, and you're one of the first people I wanted to talk to about this amazing, because again, the community, the homebrew community surrounding the 3DS is just astounding. So I want to really highlight the people behind it. I'm very excited to talk to you today. So I wanted to start from the beginning. How did you get started in programming and development and that sort of thing? When did that start for you?
Hi. Yeah. First of all, thank you also for having Zoru here. It's honestly quite amazing to Zoru to be like invited to something like a podcast here to just chat about it. Zoru never thought that Netpass would become as big as it is, and that's just really amazing.
That's wonderful. So happy
So
to
yeah,
hear that.
thank you so much about that. So, how did Zoru start programming? Actually, completely self-taught back in school during no idea anymore. During school, at some point, we got those graphical calculators for math class. Those TI calculators.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And we had one of those, and Zoru learned really quickly that you can use them to write your own little basic programs, and Zoru was hooked basically instantly. Thus, then, first programming on the calculator, various things, just like very small games at first, like a number guessing game or something like that, not very complicated. Then also like more complicated, eventually also learning some assembly for that, then going beyond the calculator to the computer with like C++ and Python, and then like Lua and so many different things, dabbled in web development in between and stuff. Then in universities, Zoru studied physics, but she sort of studied physics, but still like used to never stopped programming, just always as a hobby next to studying, keep doing various projects in various communities throughout the time until finally now, well, being at the 3DS with Netpass.
Now, what led you? That's my next question. What led you to, good segue, what led you to the 3DS itself? Like, were you a fan before you started working on the back end stuff of it? What led you to the 3DS specifically?
Well, Zoru is actually comparatively new to the 3DS in general. She'd never had one growing up, and only got herself one when she was quite well into university. And that was just because Zoru really loved Zelda games and wanted to play basically all Zelda games there are. And so she got a 3DS back then with like 4 games. Just that is Zelda Phantom Hourglass, Zelda Spirit Tracks, A Link Between Worlds, and Triforce Heroes, and that was all Zoru had. Then at some point she was like, okay, gonna get Animal Crossing as well to
Yeah.
try something out. Zoru was completely new to the Animal Crossing franchise. To Zoru personally, it's sadly not that much, not really a game she can get into, which is surprising because she really likes Stardew Valley, which is like similar style, but don't know. Animal Crossing didn't click for her. But then at some point around that time, also another friend of hers who suggested Zoru should try homebrewing it because why not? It's easy. She just, don't know, didn't think of doing that before. She just like wanted to have that as a pleasure, fun device without having to think about programming all the time. But well, things turn out a little bit different. But this is amazing fun as well, so don't worry.
Oh, good. Oh, good. Oh, good. So, and what led you so you started working on the 3DS because it's like once you mod that thing, folks, if you're unaware, like why are you listening to this if you're unaware? But if you're unaware for some reason and listening to this, you could do so much with a modded 3DS. It is absolutely insane. Just, I can't even go into all the things you could do with a modded 3DS. It's astounding. And the homebrew community surrounding it that allows modding, that allows things like Netpass, just so wonderful and vibrant and positive. That's why I wanted to like highlight it and focus on it and bring people like Soru here on to talk about it. So that's fun because I too am new to the 3DS. I got my first in 2015. I never had a DS, but I saw one in the I saw one in the store and I'm like, wow. And so I had to have it like right there and then because I love handhelds, but for a variety of reasons, I completely missed the DS. So now I'm like absolutely in love with the 3DS. And so, yeah, like we said earlier, the 3DS has a fairly unique feature called Street Pass. Now, can you tell us how exactly Street Pass works? Because the articles I found on it are pretty vague. Like they're like, oh, just go near another person with a 3DS and you exchange information. How? How does that happen? So I would love to know how that happens. So can you explain how? Go ahead.
Just for those who are listening and don't know, from the user experience side, you basically take your console with you in standby mode, and when someone else also takes their console with them in standby mode and you happen to pass them out on the street, the two consoles connect and exchange information, exchange data, which is then dependent on what kind of game it uses. For example, in Mario Kart, you can then raise a ghost of the other person you just happened to walk by on the street. Internally, that's actually using Wi-Fi. Zori has to say she doesn't know too much about it because Netpass skirts that system completely.
Oh.
However, Zori does know a little bit about it. It's basically every now and then the 3DS basically wakes up and broadcasts itself with a special hidden type of Wi-Fi network, and also looks for others who who are broadcasting that exact same Wi-Fi network. And then, when another one is found, they then connect, and from there, the entire handshake and then exchange of data starts happening.
Oh, wow. So I've noticed it'll even work with the Wi-Fi off. So even with the Wi-Fi in the settings, it's still
the settings will be Wi-Fi off, but the thing, it's using the Wi-Fi protocol. It's using the same Wi-Fi chip. It's just the settings for the user, like Wi-Fi being basically, hey, this is the Wi-Fi, where you connect to a hotspot and then have internet. But in practice, Wi-Fi can do way more. And the application that the 3DS uses is actually a rather niche application. As a slight tangent for that, Wi-Fi can do so much more. The Wii U and how the gamepad communicates with the console is also via Wi-Fi directly between the two devices.
Yeah, I was reading that the Wii U has a similar kind of Street Pass functionality where it can download things while it's asleep.
That's Spot Pass. That's a bit.
Oh, different. That's different. Okay,
well, it was completely different from a technical standpoint. The
Oh, okay.
3DS
I'm
also
sorry.
has Spots Pass though, and can download these things. And recently, Netpass also started getting some support for Spot Pass, which is also super exciting.
Oh, that is exciting. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry. There's so I'm learning because I fell back in love with my 3DS several months ago. And so I've fallen down this huge rabbit hole of learning how everything works and learning all these things. And so there's so much I'm learning. I get Spot Pass and Street Pass confused sometimes
Yeah,
as
that's
these.
totally understandable.
But Street Pass. So that I didn't know Street Pass used the Wi-Fi chip.
Yeah.
Uh, you, that's fascinating. Now, what else can the Wi-Fi chip do? Street Pass, Spot Pass. You said it could do a lot more. I know you said it's a tangent, but I'm interested, and I hope other people are interested. What
Like
else can it
Wi-Fi
do?
in general, like it's a wireless communication radio, basically. Yeah.
I
um,
Yeah. So it's just fascinating what this thing can do, especially when you hook it up to Wi-Fi. Just absolutely fascinating. So you said that NetPass skirts a lot of that entirely. So
yeah.
let's get into the nitty gritty because I am fascinated to learn this. How does like NetPass work and then integrate back into StreetPass so the 3DS thinks it got StreetPass?
That actually changed completely with the release of NetPass 1.0 about a year and a half ago. It used to work
Okay.
completely different than it does nowadays. Um,
And we're up
um,
to 2.0.3 as we
yeah,
record this,
yeah,
I
yeah.
believe.
2.0
Yeah.
introduced Spot Pass support.
Ah, okay.
Should Zoru start with how it used to be or how it
Sure.
is now? Or
I would love to hear the whole history because it's a
okay,
journey. I want to hear about the journey. So
it
please.
really is a journey. Um, okay, so how it all started. Um, Zora did say in the past that Zora did say before or earlier that she homebrewed her 3DS and then from there on then did some programming as well. That was way before Netpass was ever a thing. She just dabbled a little bit and did like some proof of concept instant messaging on the 3DS and then basically left it be for quite some time. And then with the Nintendo announcing the closure of the eShop, Zori was like, let's look at this again. And was like curious and then tried like Pretendo a little bit because to know why not. And then was like, Street Pass looks interesting. Like it's such a cool concept. You have like these
Right?
games where it then bleeds into the non-game world where you then just pass someone else and the exchange of information and stuff. It's such a cool concept. And Zori wanted to play around with it, wanted to see how it was because she never got to experience it. So then Zori started looking into, there's this thing Pretendo. Maybe someone else made something to revive Street Pass or not. And yeah, then she started looking into things. At that point, Zora didn't know much at all how the 3DS worked internally. She could just like do programming in general, but no, not really much specific to the 3DS. She very quickly then stumbled upon like a thread on GBA Temp where people were basically posting some files you could copy around in God Mode 9 to then get some passes of other people. But of course,
Oh.
that's not bi-directional or anything like that. And then you only got those. And like, it was not a very nice UX.
God mode. God
It
mode scares
worked.
me.
It's
God
worked
mode scares
for
me. Yeah.
yeah, understandable. You can do a lot with it. Um, like it worked. It showcased that it is possible to do things like this, and that's about it. So yeah, basically played around, saw, oh yeah, you can get other passes, but it wasn't really it didn't really feel proper yet because of all the extra hoops, and you didn't really talk like it wasn't a very social thing yet, which Street Pass inherently is, because you take the 3DS with you and go out and meet others. And so Zori really quickly realized that if she wanted to play around with Street Pass, she had to make something that made it as easy as possible for anyone to use Street Pass.
Wow, that's a goal. That's a hell of a goal. I love it.
Yeah. And of course, just it also just sounded like a really fun project. So yeah, then Zori started like looking into how things work, and it was a lot of just like research, reading stuff online before there was any proper code written at all, just to figure out how things work. Um, so yeah, in the 3DS operating system has so-called system modules, and they are there to do various things that then like a game, for example, can then use to like interface with the hardware. For example, there's a system module for HTTP requests so that a game can then easily make HTTP requests. There's another system module to talk with the NFC chip for reading amiibos. There's another system module for this and that. And there's one system module, they call it CECD. Not quite sure what it actually stands for. Something with chance encounter, something
Oh,
demon. Probably communicate chance encounter communication demon or something like that.
that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. We'll
And
go with that.
and that is what the system module is called that the 3DS uses for Streets Pass. So that yeah, and then there's then like an API, so a way for other programs to then easily call code within the system module to like look at files, look at inboxes, outboxes. So we first had to learn what is an inbox and an outbox in Street Pass, because it's all like internal components, and it's like if a game is sending a message to someone else to get them out to another 3DS, it's an outbox, and if it receives message, it lands in the 3DS's own inbox. And the first version of Netpass basically kept talking with that system service and was writing the message files to the inboxes and outboxes directly. Just, yeah, just wrote directly to them because Zori figured out, hey, if I take this message, which is basically a file of a few kilobytes, and then copy it to the inbox, and then, of course, adjust the metadata of the inbox that, hey, there's another message here, and then you start the game, and then the Street Pass is there. Amazing. By the way, if something is not clear, feel free to interrupt and ask.
Right. Like you said something about NNG and something earlier. I wasn't sure what those are.
Sorry, what?
You said there's a module for the first module you mentioned. I'm trying to remember.
HTTP.
Yeah. Oh, HTTP. Yes. Okay.
And after that was NFC, which is like
okay.
Okay.
HTTP. Got it. Okay. Thank you. Yeah, that was a little like, what is
there's
HTTP?
also there's also like one for file system, like if you ever want to talk like to file system things, write your save game, then you need the file system sys module.
Oh geez. I'm learning that there's a lot going on under the hood of these tiny little things.
And yeah, that is how it used to work. But then later on, Zori learned of another system where she could solve the entire thing way more elegantly, because at this point, Netpass was basically manually re-implementing what the operating system did with, hey, here's a pass, I'm going to put this into the database and adjust all the metadata. Basically duplicated effort in trying to copy it to be as close as possible. And there were a few bugs, which Zori had no idea where they came from, and were just because, well, it's hard to copy things directly from code that you have no idea what it is, because like the source code is not open of the 3DS. So yeah.
Okay. Wow.
The other system is, now we have to do another tangent.
Okay. Love tangents. Go for it.
There used to be a thing that Nintendo did called Nintendo Zone.
Okay.
Zori, being late to the 3DS, has never experienced those directly. But apparently it was, for example, that there were like partnered McDonald's locations, which then had a special Wi-Fi where if you had your 3DS there with you, it would automatically connect to the Wi-Fi of that McDonald's. And one of the
Oh,
features of
right.
this Nintendo Zone was then that it would act as a Street Pass aggregator, basically. So that feature would be like you connect to this specific Wi-Fi, then it uploads your Street Pass messages, and then downloads the Street Pass messages of the past to know 5 people or something that were there to make it again more frequent to get Street Passes. And
Wow.
this system is internally known as Street Pass Relay, or SPR for short. And that basically meant Nintendo already put inside of the 3DS code to send and receive Street Passes via HTTP calls. So just, yeah, via normal HTTP calls.
Oh, wow.
And
That sounds a lot simpler than the other method you were describing with the.
yes, and that is what Netpass utilizes nowadays. However, if you're inside of the however, for it to still be able to work, like Netpass currently has some system patches to make it like work really nicely. But the system patches are actually optional if you just want the Street Pass stuff. And to get that to work, Zori had to do some reverse engineering
Oh,
because
fun.
there wasn't information about this yet. Like, so that SPR existed, was known, and how the HTTP endpoints work was also known. However, what Zori wanted to do with the Netpass was poke the system module and pretend that the HTTP and basically call the exact same APIs that the HTTP endpoints would call. And that part was not documented yet. So Zori spent literally months reverse engineering the CECD and also BOSS system module. BOSS is background online, no idea. It's Spot Pass. It's it like what Nintendo calls Spot Pass to the consumer is internally called BOSS.
Oh,
BOSS.
wow. Okay.
So, and SPR, the Street Pass Relay, works by the BOSS system module calling the HTTP endpoint, and then the BOSS system module calls the CECD, so the Street Pass system module, with all the information. And what Zori basically wanted to do is what the BOSS system module does and directly talk with the CECD system module. And that part of the API was not documented anywhere yet, so Zori had to reverse engineer that completely, and it took forever and ever and ever, but it was completely worth it. Because
Wow.
as soon as Zori figured that out and then implemented the thing, all those little bugs and edge cases that were an issue pre Netpass 1.0 were immediately gone, because suddenly it just used all the exact same code, and thus it works exactly like an official Street Pass and not just like hacked in writing
Oh.
in there. And that was like the reason, the entire broader reason why Zori wanted to do it like this.
Oh, so it's basically emulating like stuff that. Sorry, I'm an idiot. It's basically emulating protocols and things that Nintendo was already using in McDonald's and whatnot to make
Yes.
things more efficient and
Yes.
elegant.
Yes.
Oh,
And also
wow.
crushed a ton of bugs at the same time.
Right. But there was but you had to go through everything and figure out how it all worked. You had to reverse engineer everything to figure out how it all worked, because
Yeah.
Nintendo's not going to tell you. And
No.
there's no book anywhere. The 3DS
Yeah.
programming for dummies. There's nothing like it. Wow.
Well,
That's
there is a wiki called 3D Brew, which is really good for in-depth information on how the 3DS operating
oh.
system works. But that part there was not documented yet. By now it is, because Zori spent the time after having reverse engineered all that to actually go there and document it, so that if someone else wants to do something with it, they can just look it up instead of having to go through all that effort again.
Oh, so I'm just looking at. I don't think I've heard of 3D Brew, but holy moly, there's a.
It's a thing more for developers.
Right, I'm not a developer, but I love that's one of the things I love about, again, this community and this homebrew community is that stuff like this exists. Like people come together to make this 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 3D brew wiki that
Yeah.
other developers can refer to solve their own problems. Beautiful thing. Like I'm not gonna
3dbrew.org it is.
yeah, I'm not gonna thank you. Let me hang on one second. I'm gonna add that to the notes here. Um I add links to the I add notes to the post on 3dscast.com so people can follow the links if they want to. So I just wanted to write that one down. Oh, that yeah. I'm not just reading the front page is breaking my brain a little bit because again I'm an idiot and just looking
It,
at all this stuff like safe hacks and libtrue and
CTRU, yeah.
TTRU, yeah, DevKit Pro. Just my brain. Yeah, I'm gonna close that. My brain
Yeah,
is already melting.
that is developer focus.
Right, I can obviously tell, but it's fascinating. So, this reverse engineering thing, what were like? Because I'm just learning how people are doing that. How do you go about reverse engineering a thing like you did, and what are like? Would you say the biggest challenges are in reverse engineering and then creating a thing like Netpass?
That was actually the first time Zora did reverse engineering like that.
Oh,
Um, she got initially to help her out. She got some help from a friend of hers who reverse engineers things as a hobby to like basically get Zora started to explain like, hey, how does this software work? What's some basic things to look out for? And then what to do? It's looking a lot at code and trying to understand things. But what you have to understand, okay, what you see when you reverse engineer something like this is from the 3DS, you basically have the machine code and you can kind of reverse compile it to make it more easily readable as just code that you would write yourself. However, all the variable names and functions and how your data types look like, that all does not exist. And you have to painstakingly slowly piece that together just based on how the code looks like. And that's also why it
oh,
just took months because it was literally just looking at that
oh.
all day
So,
long for many days and of course taking some breaks here and there, but like
of
many days
course.
and weeks at the end just looking through it. How does this work? How is that? And then
Oh my
like
God.
programming something, trying out, this doesn't work as I expected. Let's see, why is that? It's a lot of effort.
So from an idiot's perspective, it sounds like basically you recompile the code backwards so you can make it look like regular code, but a lot of stuff is missing because they're unique variables and functions and things like that. So you have to go through the original code and piece it all together like a giant jigsaw puzzle. Basically,
Yeah,
that's what.
yeah, yeah,
Oh my
yeah,
God.
yeah.
Oh my God. That
And like
sounds.
all the comments that the developers left for themselves to understand how things work, that's all missing.
Oh God. Oh, so you're kind of starting from scratch a little bit.
Yeah,
And it sounds kind of like because we watch a lot of murder mysteries and it kind of sounds like you're putting a like a murder like you're solving a mystery. Basically, it sounds like
yeah,
you're solving a mystery in putting all that together, which in its own way, like I could never do it, but the way you describe it sounds absolutely fascinating. I would My head would explode. But if you have the smarts to do it, it sounds like a fascinating project.
it really is to Zor, like to Zor. Zor can also definitely see that for a lot of other people who like programming. It's not for everyone. You need a
No.
lot of dedication and hard work, and at some point you're like a few days in going down some rabbit hole, notice, hey, this is completely useless. It does nothing I want to do.
No.
And that
I
just
th-
happens. It's part of the process.
Well, I also think that to be a programmer, you have to have a certain type of intelligence that someone like me does not. Like you have to be able to connect things in your head in a way that I don't have that ability. So I'm always impressed with programmers because they, I think, have an innate ability that I don't. And so that kind of stuff fascinates me to talk about. But I've tried to learn programming. Oh my God. I fail every time. Like it's like another language. It's like I can only hold one language in my brain. and that's English, and that's not even good English. So like I can't learn program or any other language because like my brain isn't wired properly for it. But if your brain is wired properly for it, like yours and so many others, sounds like a very rewarding endeavor in the end because you ultimately created Netpass, which is a wonderful thing. Sounds very
Yeah,
rewarding.
yeah, yeah. It
That's
is.
that's wonderful because again, I talked to you're my second interview, and I talked to someone else yesterday who he had a big hand in creating soap transfers,
Hmm.
and the rabbit hole he took me down and what a mess it is inside the 3DS, both from a hardware and software perspective, was so enlightening. So
Yeah.
I want to kind of go into that. What are like some of the big challenges you faced when dealing specifically with the 3DS and programming?
Hmm.
Because
Probably the reverse engineering because that was something Zori had never done before.
wow, yeah, I can only imagine. That
So
sounds
yeah, like learning completely new skill. Then another thing that was challenging but also a lot of fun was then later on for the Spot Pass revival. That one actually requires and leans way more heavily on some system module patches, and creating those was also then again a harder thing.
oh
But a
for
lot
the
of a,
good.
a lot of Netpass was also just like pleasure programming fun. Like Zori purposefully wrote the Netpass client in C and not C++ because she wanted to challenge herself a little bit more.
Oh, that's fun. Yeah, folks, the Netpass client is fascinating. I want to talk about how that all works now because Netpass has some. It works. It's interesting how it works because you load it up and you're in like your house, and then you go to a location, like a cat cafe or a mall. I love the images by the way of the mall and the arcade and the cat cafe. Just absolutely adorable hand drawn art. It's so cute. Um, and then when you go there, you stay there for I think it's 10 hours
Yeah.
while other people. Now, how does that work exactly? What like why is it 10 hours? For example, is that like a hardware
So
limit or yeah? Please go
a
ahead.
lot of the things for the user experience inside of the NetPass application itself is basically just flavoring. It's how Zoru thought it could make sense to try and replicate the feeling as good as possible to go out on the street and happen to walk past other people. There is
Oh,
no hardware limit at all for why it should be 10 hours, why you only get passes every now and then. No real, like, there's no hardware limit or reason for that at all there. It's literally just trying to replicate the feeling of actually going out and getting street passes.
oh yeah, because you would go out for to work or whatever, and you'd have it in your bag for 8 or 9
Yeah,
hours or whatever, and then you come
yeah,
back, you come home, and there it
yeah,
is. Oh, that makes a lot of sense. Oh, I
yeah.
love it. That makes a
The,
lot of sense. That's
very like the very first versions of NetPass that Zori had posted on GBA tab. That was before she even made the Discord. It was just like you start the program and it uploads your passes and downloads every single pass it has in the database. Which back then
oh
worked
god.
because there weren't many people. There were just like 5, 6 people trying it out, and then yeah.
I'm how do you know how many people are using it now?
Yes. We have a mod panel where it displays our monthly active, like how many monthly active users there
Oh,
are. Just a second.
okay. I'm fascinated to know because again, friends, this program is just absolutely wonderful and one of the many things you can do once you mod your 3DS or 2DS.
So it has to say, since we released the new puzzles about a week ago, we have seen that there's more activity again. And
Wait,
currently, NetPass has 18,000 monthly active users.
Wow, that's so wonderful. So hang on, puzzles. What are we talking about? I don't think I know what that is.
So the most popular Street Pass game is Street Pass Me Plaza, which is the game where you have your me and then you go out and
Oh,
meet another me. And one of the
right,
mini
right,
games in
right.
there is Puzzle Swap. And about a week ago, we released some custom puzzles distributed via Spot Pass, the Spot Pass revival that we did. And you can just
Really?
use those within Street Pass, like any of the official puzzles, and exchange puzzle pieces with others. Yeah.
What's one of the new ones? I'm gonna go look. I have my 3DS right here. I'm gonna look.
Big thanks to someone going up as RSM there. They did a lot of the reverse engineering of how the files look like, the puzzle files basically, and how, like, what all there is. They did that work, and then Netpass does the distribution basically.
Fascinating. Friends, if you don't know what we're talking about, the 3DS has a built-in thing called the Me Plaza. And when you get Street Pass characters, you can bring them into your plaza and they'll hang out there. But you can also play games with them. And one of the games is the puzzle swap, where you walk around and put puzzles together with your friends or the people you've met. Uh, no new pieces. I guess I need to go to the plaza. Um, but yeah, you can put pieces together, and it's just absolutely. There's like 2 free games it comes with, and you can get like 8 other games, like a slot car game and a cooking game. So these are like free games that depend on Netpass or slash Street Pass to get you people to do these things with. Like in the slot car game, you could race against other people. In the stock trading game, you can hire advisors to help you. So it's this very social gaming experience on this little thing. But the lovely thing about it is it's completely optional. If you don't want to be social at all, you don't have to open it like at all. It's absolutely amazing. And there'll be days where I'll lose an hour or two just in the Me Plaza. God, there's something going on in here that I missed. So you guys added custom NetPass puzzles to the puzzle swap. That is astounding. That is absolutely astounding that you can do that. Just amazing, you guys. And
Thanks.
I gotta say, 18,000 users. That was a. I don't know what number I was expecting, but that is honestly so heartening to know that there are 18,000 3DS players out there across the world that are using this thing. Because you know, with the prices as they are, you think, oh, so many, and there were 74 million of these things sold. Like, how many people are actually using these things? How many people have actually modded them? How many people are actually regularly using them? You know, and it's kind of
Yeah.
hard to get. It's hard to get a number. So to hear that 18,000 people are regularly using their 3DS enough use NetPass is just, it warms my heart. It honestly warms my heart.
Zori was also just so surprised the first time she was like looking at the database to see that those statistics, and was like, back then it was probably like 8,000. It was still like, wow, that is so many.
That's wonderful. But it also shows that people love this social aspect because it's kind of another form of collecting in a way. You're
Yeah,
collecting
yeah,
you're collecting other people. And
yeah.
and they're from all over the world, which I think is funny. I don't know if you've noticed this about the Me Plaza, y'all, but like you'll get someone from Germany, it shows a map of Germany. Yay. You get someone from like Peru, no map of Peru. It's like, what are we doing, Nintendo? Like, why do we only have maps of some? Why do we only have maps of some countries, Nintendo? What's going on there? What is happening there? But it's interesting. This device, if I may go on my own tangent, can be as solitary or as social as you want it to be. And Street Pass allows you, because you can turn Street Pass off, I believe, right? Entirely. Like you don't have to
Yeah,
have
yeah.
Street Pass at all. Like, so you can, this could be a totally solo solitary experience, or you can enable things like Street Pass and Spot Pass and just be a little more social with this tiny little device. And it just amazes me. Like, that Nintendo didn't keep up with this with the Switch. That just boggles my mind that they didn't keep this with the Switch, the Street Pass.
Yeah. It
I
would have been
don't get
amazing
that.
if the Switch had it.
Right? Right. Wouldn't that be astounding if the Switch had it? I don't
Yeah.
really understand. Like, okay, so let me ask you, because maybe we can think about this. Is working with Street Pass and the Wi-Fi chip and everything, is that, would you say that's needlessly difficult? Would you say it's convoluted? Would you say it's complex? Or is it fairly straightforward?
Well, that's the thing. Zara doesn't know. She didn't work at that part at all. She just knows in theory how it works on a surface
Oh,
level,
okay.
and yeah,
Because part of me is wondering if like making Street Pass for the 3DS was maybe a pain in the butt for Nintendo people, and that's why
they
they
have
didn't.
the money and the people. That's not the
Yeah,
issue.
no, I'm just wondering, like, is it a cost saving thing? Was it an efficiency thing? Like, I wish I understood, because I would, if I have a Switch, I never use it. It just sits in its dock. I don't think I've touched it in a year, um, maybe longer. And I think if it had Street Pass, I might actually carry that freaking thing around more, you know?
Hmm.
Um, so I really think Street Pass is one of the things Nintendo lost when it made the Switch,
Not
along
just
with
Street Pass.
so many other things. Yes, so many. The Switch has no soul compared to
Yeah.
the 3DS. It's a corporate machine. It's got no soul at all. Um, so it's kind of amazing that Nintendo's gone that direction and we lost a thing like Street Pass, which and so many other things, like we said. But my God. So I want to ask another question because you've done a lot of programming with 3DS. What would you say? I'm going to be asking this one question of I think every programmer and developer I talk to. What for you has been the most unique or interesting thing about programming and modding for the 3DS?
Um, Zori had people she know contact her and be like, "Hey, I just heard about Netpass from Zoru. That's from you, right?" And Zori had never mentioned it to them before.
Huh. Huh. All right.
That was a really unique new experience.
You're kind of a celebrity in this little in this niche. You're kind of a celebrity, like kind of people coming up to you on the street, on the virtual streets, and saying, "Hey,
That happened, and that's just interesting of an experience.
wow, that's awesome. That's awesome. I mean,
Yeah,
you do deserve all the credit for this wonderful program." But
thanks.
from a programming perspective, what would you say is the most unique or interesting thing you've run into in working on this machine from like a technical perspective?
Yeah, that wasn't technical at all.
No, 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 that's
It
fine. That's fine.
technically answered your
That's
question, but not.
no, no, no. That's still
Yeah, yeah,
unique.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
still
yeah.
unique. So I'm fine with it. But I do want to. I'm fascinated with the technical aspects of this little thing. Absolutely fascinated. So that's why I'm
That's
asking
the
the question.
thing. Zori already had done before programming of other microcontrollers and embedded systems and stuff like that. So,
Oh,
in that aspect, the 3DS wasn't anything particularly new to her. The only new thing, as she said before, was learning how to do reverse engineering.
oh, okay. So that was probably the most interesting thing was the reverse engineering. Um,
Yeah,
okay, it's like the gentleman I talked to yesterday was talking about how it's got three different chips and blah blah blah. Like it's
yeah,
this
yeah. It has.
nightmare.
Yeah,
This
it does have multiple different chips, but the thing is, when you are writing things in userland, which is basically any application you just install as a CIA, you only ever see one of the chips. The other chips are just like other hardware peripherals that you talk to.
oh, interesting. That's fascinating. I didn't know that. Uh,
So yeah,
yeah, friends, if you're unaware, a CIA file is a file that you can use to install a program directly onto the 3DS's home screen. Um,
yes,
and it makes it like its own little applet. Um, there are two ways to install apps: that or put it in the homebrew launcher. I usually do CIA file because if it's in the homebrew launcher, I'm going to forget about it.
yeah, same.
But so I guess I guess I'm going to ask one more question because we are approaching an hour, and I usually like to keep these things about an hour or under.
Hmm.
What would you say is the most rewarding thing about this project for you?
The community.
Yes.
Very clearly the community.
Oh my God, yes. Oh my God. I agree with you. I'm just going to jump in. Friends, one of the reasons I've fallen back in love with the 3DS so hard is the community. The Discords, the Facebook groups, the Reddits. I've rarely been in gaming communities that are as positive, as supportive, and as joyful as the community surrounding this device. Like, because I've been a PC gamer primarily for 30 some years, and those communities can get very, very toxic. Very toxic. But I think that the communities, if you don't mind me interjecting, I think the communities around the 3DS underlie the joy that is inherent in the console itself. Because this is a very joyful device. That's how I describe it. It's a joyful device. When you get a new game, you get a present. You have your Mii's. You know, you can have these brilliant, vibrant custom themes. It's just a joyful, happy device that I don't think anything else has come close to in that regard. Like the Switch doesn't. No other handheld has, you know. So the community surrounding this device is one of the reasons I started this podcast also, because I want to talk to people in the community like Soru here about how they got involved, how they made this wonderful program and why they keep doing it. And it really comes down to the community. It's just, I can't gush enough about it. And I agree with you, Soru, that it's a wonderful community. Your Discord server is great. A lot of the Discord servers I'm on, and I will include links to all this stuff in the show notes. Don't worry about that, folks. Um, all the other Discords I'm on are great, so supportive, so friendly and helpful. Sometimes, the homebrew server, the Nintendo homebrew Discord server, the big one. Sometimes I'll just lurk in the 3DS assistance channels and watch people help each other just to feel better about humanity. That makes any sense. So I hope I didn't step on your toes, but when you started talking about the community, I'm like, oh shit, oh my God,
Completely fine.
I could talk
fine.
but what is because now you kind of run a community. So what has your experience been like?
Yeah. Wild. As Zoru said at the beginning, Zoru was looking around for existing things that provide Street Pass because she wanted to play around with it. And Pretendo's thing for that didn't exist yet. So, and she couldn't find one. So then she started making one and then made a GBA temp thread that got pretty popular. At some point, Zoru was like, let's post a Discord in there. She made a new Discord thing and then posted a link in there. And then within a few minutes, the first people were already joining. And Zoe was like, what? How quick was that? And
that's great.
I don't know. It's just been growing and awesome from there on out. People have been so nice. In total, there were a few people where it was like, but what are you going to focus on? Those people or the amazing part?
You'll always get a few schmucks in there every now and again. There's always a jerk. But again, I got to agree with you. 98, 99% of the community I've interacted with around the 3DS and the DS have just been nothing but positive and helpful and joyful and supportive. And again, I can't gush enough about how wonderful the community is.
What's also amazing, what Zoe wants to shout out at this point is all her wonderful moderators that don't only moderate the Discord for Netpass, but also Netpass itself, because inside of the application, you can also report another user, like if you see someone doing bad stuff, like drawing in Swapdoodle a very bad note or something like that, or putting hate speech in a message or something, which sadly does happen. You can very easily report it inside of the application. And our moderators are really amazing to then go through the things and take according action. And they do amazing work. So
Oh,
big
yeah.
shout out slash thanks to them.
Yeah, I'm looking at the website now, and there's a section on moderating and reporting. I didn't know you could do
Yeah.
that. I've never run into that, but that's wonderful that you can do that. Your app is, I mean, when you first load it up, you're like, huh? But then once you see what it can do, you're like, this is amazing. I will admit I was a little confused when I first loaded up. Like, what am I doing? Um, but it didn't take long to grok what was going on. And once I did, I'm like, I load it up every day now, at least once a day. Like it's one of the first things I load when I turn on my 3DS for the first time every day.
Oh.
Because I'm like, who am I gonna meet today? You know, who am I gonna meet today? What kind of level in Mario Maker am I gonna get? What kind of battle am I gonna have in Yokai Watch 2? You know, what kind of ghost am I gonna race against in Mario Kart 7? It's just beautiful. It's
You're
just
not
beautiful.
seeing that right now, but you're just saying that you open up Netpass every day, which is something that Zori created, just put such a big smile on her face.
I'm so happy to hear it because I'm so happy with this machine. It's become my primary gaming machine. It's so weird. Like for years, I was a PC gamer primarily. And as of like 3 or 4 months ago, I flipped and now I'm primarily a 3DS gamer with
Mm-hmm.
with dabbling in the PC. it's but it's because of stuff like Netpass, and it's because of stuff like the Street Pass that allows these social interactions to happen. Um, in the background, like you don't have to seek people out; it just happens. And it, I think the nicest thing about Street Pass is so many things these days on your phone and your computer um, try and pull you in a certain direction. They try and drag you into their little ecosystem where this net pass through Street Pass is like, here's some new friends. You didn't really have to do anything for it. Here you go. You didn't have to work. You didn't have to work hard. We're not trying to shove these on you. Here you go. Here's some new friends. And it's just like it's friends. And you see your me plaza just grow and grow and grow as you visit. And it's like, oh, this is great. So it's just part of that joyful feeling that this console provides. Let's start wrapping up. Is there anything in closing you wanted to say about NetPass before we go?
If you want to check it out, Zori would be really happy about it.
Yeah, it is. What is it? That's the URL.
Netpass.cafe.
Yes, I see it. Yeah, netpass.cafe, which will again be linked in the post on the website. So, you know, if you missed that, don't worry. It's going to be in there. And NetPass is very easy to install, like all the best 3DS programs. There's a QR code right freaking there, you know, on the thing. So it's like so easy. So Sora, I want to thank you for taking the time to talk to me about your journey, not only with programming itself, but your journey with the 3DS and NetPass. It's been just wonderful and fascinating to talk to you, and I want to thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for inviting Zori and having her here. It was really nice.
It was a pleasure. It was a pleasure. I'm going to try and get more people also. So this is fun and I'm loving it. And I hope to get more. So friends, thank you so much for listening. We really hope you enjoyed this and have a joyful day of gaming. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.